I met this guy. His name's Matt Wright. Flies helicopters, wrestles crocodiles, grizzly bears. He's like the cross between Indiana Jones and the Marlboro Man.
Yeah. How did you meet him?
I got introduced to him for a mutual friend who worked for R.M. Williams, and Matt was doing some flying for them during their campaign shoots and ended up being the central figure for one of their campaigns because he's a good-looking rooster. But I saw him and just thought, well, there's just something amazing about him that should be a TV show. So I was, this is 10 years ago, so I was sort of late 20s, and I went and pitched Matt to some TV networks, got rejected by all of them, was sort of asked if I'd ever made TV before by some network CEOs and execs, and I said, well, it doesn't look that fucking complicated. So if you've got a great idea. But anyway, took rejection. Rejection's good. And I was almost a little bit disheartened with it because I had to go and shoot a really good reel up in the Northern Territory with multiple helicopters in the air and all that sort of stuff. It's probably going to cost me like 75 grand or something. So 75 grand for like a punt. But I fully believed in Matt and fully believed in the concept. And it's that thing of success where opportunity meets hard work. There's lots of hard work, and this opportunity came along that a friend of mine, Mark Llewellyn, who had left the 9 network and went to the 7 network, called me one day and said, hey, mate, I'm about to launch a new show called Sunday Night. It's going to take on 60 Minutes, and I'm looking for story ideas. You got any? It's like, I've got a good story idea for you. I said, this bloke lives in the Northern Territory, catches crocodiles for a living, flies helicopters, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, mate, fantastic. Can we shoot next week?
Perfect. That's what I'm looking for.
He's like, oh, mate, no expense. He goes, no expense spared on this. We're going to have Cineflex, they're Cineflex at that time before drones. You're looking at 10 grand like a day to get those in the air. So, but back in those days, that's where I'm thinking in my mind, oh yeah, great. Well, I'm helping you out with a problem, but you're now helping me out because you're going to give me a fucking awesome reel. So we ended up with this 12-minute story. Sam Armitage was the reporter at that stage.
And this is what, 10 years ago?
This is about 10 years ago. And Michael Pell, who's the now current executive producer of Sunrise, #1 breakfast TV show in the country, was the segment producer, story producer. So obviously Sam and Michael have gone on to kick big goals. But I ended up with this amazing reel. I then used that as my reel to shop that around, and we got a call out of the blue one night from a guy called Jeff Daniels, who's the boss of National Geographic based in Washington, D.C. And he said, I've seen your reel on Matt Wright, wondering what you're doing for dinner on Wednesday. And that was on a Friday. Wow. So that's how it happened. And I called Matt and said, mate, get to Sydney. We're booking flights. We're off to D.C. So we flew to Washington, D.C. literally for dinner. We got there, in the morning, and we're out the next day.
And you were meeting with the head of Nat Geo,
the boss of National Geographic. Yeah.
Wow.
So we're now 4 seasons in. 130 countries around the world, and doing some pretty cool stuff. So again, that is just sheer. I was going to say sheer determination, but you've got to have a great product first. And I've always believed in Matt. He's an incredible talent, and he's just got better and better and better in front of the camera. These days with TV, like when you think about the cost of things, and that's why what we're currently going through at the moment, it's a game changer, absolute game changer. You look at my brother Ben's at 2GB, does Drive on 2GB. Ratings came out yesterday, he's #1.
Yeah, he's killing it.
He's killing it.
He's got the radio show. He's
on Ninja Warrior. He's been the Today Show. But here's the thing, and you got Alan Jones in Breakfast, #1, and
I love Alan Jones.
It's amazing, and Ray Hadley and Deb Knight. But you look at radio as a medium. When the coronavirus happened, it decimated a lot of big shows. Your Voices and your Big Brothers and Master Chefs and all those types of things, because there's like 1,000 crew around. They're really expensive to make. But you look at broadcasting, especially radio, those simple mediums where, they're broadcasting from their homes, Alan's farm or Ray's farm or wherever it might be. And it's like we're doing now. It's a microphone. It's talking straight to an audience. It's not expensive in terms of the production. And I think that's going to change a lot. It's interesting seeing this happen, seeing Jimmy Fallon host the Tonight Show from his bedroom and no one gives a shit. They're like, cool, he's in his bedroom. Instead of going, the set cost me $4 million and I'm in Rockefeller Center and got all the, the 500 lights and everything.
What were the ratings or viewings higher in his bedroom or lower? Is this real? Is that real? What you're saying?
Yeah, 100%.
I didn't know that.
Well, Alan's.
Do you know what the ratings are?
I don't know what the ratings are, but yeah, because everyone's at home.
Yeah, it makes it more real. They feel like
Alan Jones's ratings went up yesterday by 3.1 points to 17 point something. I mean,
what does that mean? I don't know what that means.
It's huge. Like in this day and age, those sorts of numbers are just off the charts. But people turn back to reliable sources, and then it comes back to sort of our clients and the people we represent. Is people turn back to reliable, credible sources, whether it's Lisa Wilkinson on the project or whatever it might be.
I think now is quite possibly the best time to be producing content. Everyone's looking at their phones. Everyone's online. People are bored at home as well. So it's like me. If I get bored, I can do a podcast.
Yeah.
It's in the house. How could the average civilian, I guess, make a presence in this time? Is it a good time for the average person to be creating content? And
I just think making content for the sake of it is probably not the wisest idea, because I even been flicking through some stuff on LinkedIn and other things as well when you've got, and I give them full credit because they're having a go. Don't get me wrong. But there's a lot of shit content.
Sometimes you just shouldn't try.
Yeah. No, but what's your point of difference?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that I think now's a really good time for businesses to reconnect with their clients, just sort of reorganize what they're doing, reconnect as a group. I mean, it's not business as usual because things have changed a bit, so, but it's an important time just to reconnect because, as you know, things are slower. If this was any other work day, I'd be thinking here as well, I'd have messages pinging off my phone and the things would be, even though there are messages pinging off my phone, but I'm not worried about what's happening in the outside world. I'm enjoying this moment doing this podcast. That's very unlike me. I'm always thinking of the 15 other things I need to do as soon as I leave here. So I think that's giving people time and space.
What would you recommend on that? What is valuable content? How does someone know they're spitting out valuable content? Because that's the goal, value.
Yeah, well, it's interesting because even I'm kicking off my own content thing next week. I'm starting next week LinkedIn Live with my clients. And it's just a short little interview series that I'm going to be talking about things like resilience, leadership. I've got clients like Captain Richard de Crepney, who's the Qantas A380 pilot that had 2 engines explode when he flew out of Changi in Singapore. So talking about things like resilience, I've got a lot of high-profile coaches like Craig Bellamy and Paul Roos and Ange Postecoglou and super successful guys.